Hi, my name is Isabelle Reddy, and today I'm going to be asking my dad Rom and my mother Renee a few questions. Alrighty, we ready?
Sure.
Alright. Dad, it's all over the news that you and Mom were representing yourselves in court last week. You're not a lawyer. Why'd you do it?
I don't know, it was instinct. It was the week before I met with my lawyers. I just felt like we were not on the same page. They were charging me a lot of money for what they were doing. And I felt like they were forcing me to settle with the government. And of course, it's easy for me to settle with the government. I could have settled. I paid them more in legal fees than the cost of my fine. So obviously, it's easy for me to settle. But if I settled, Isabel, this would open up Pandora's box for every individual in this state. What they're trying to do with me, they've never, ever done before. They're trying to get unlimited jurisdiction over private land. And as I told the judge, I stand in the breach between this type of unlimited jurisdiction and tyranny on the people. And I told the judge, you stand between tyranny and freedom. And I just felt like I had to fight this. I also had to fight it as a citizen, both of us did, just to show that a citizen can fight it. And the citizen must fight it, because the amount of money it cost me to get to the stage in front of an administrative judge was so incredible, 3 or 4 times or 5 times the average median family income of any resident in South Carolina. And I just said, people shouldn't have to do this. People shouldn't have to do this to prove their innocence against unelected bureaucrats and agencies. And we need to learn to fight it. We must fight it, because if we don't fight it, we will unleash tyranny like our founding fathers feared, Isabel. I know you and I talked a lot at the dinner table over what the dreams were for our founding fathers. And this was one of their dreams, that we be a free citizen and not be enslaved by government. So I don't know, Renee, how did you feel about it?
Going into it, I was quite nervous. I didn't really know what to expect. But after a little bit of time, I trust you, and I thought you did an excellent job, and you know your facts, you know the law.
I don't know about knowing my facts and law, but I feel like I had 4 days to get ready, and I did the best I could.
Yeah, so my next question would be, I want to know what happened. What was the judge like? Was he mad?
That I have to say as well, that was a pleasant surprise to me. Judge Ralph Anderson was incredible. He was, people always say in admin court, which is really an administrative court where there's no jury or anything like that, they just deal a lot of all these crazy agencies. Judge Anderson was kind to me. He was very accommodating. I told him it's the first time I've seen the inside of a courtroom was this. But prior to that was in My Cousin Vinny. And
Wonderful movie.
and in business, I always had people who went to courtrooms. I never did, so I guess that's a good thing in a way. But he was very, very kind. And I actually enjoyed it. At the end of it, the agency state was awful. They had huge number of attorneys and help, and 2 huge luggage carts full of documents. And of course, they had, I'll tell you a little bit later in the broadcast, their client, which is apparently the Coastal Conservation League, far left radical group, in there with their whole set of attorneys as well. So that was a setup.
So in your response, you mentioned an admin court. Would you mind explaining to me what that is?
Admin court is, you have 100-some agencies doing all these rulings and going after the citizens. This agency has 30 lawyers inside the agency. All they do is go after the citizen. And so they accuse you and they say you're guilty. You have to prove your innocence if you can afford it. But before you can get in front of a judge in a real court and a jury, they have an administrative judge who who navigates all these rules and regulations generally tends to favor the agencies. There used to be the case at the federal level as well, and then they had Chevron at the federal level that said no more favoring the judgment of these agencies. I don't know if it's come to South Carolina or not. But you have to go through that process. Unfortunately, it's very expensive. Like I said yesterday, like 5 or 6 times the cost of the median family income. A citizen shouldn't have to go through this. And I felt like I needed to show people that we as citizens shouldn't have to go through this, shouldn't have to spend essentially all this money to show up in front of a judge to prove our innocence against a bunch of unelected bureaucrats. No one put them there. They stay there forever, and they spend their time using the police powers of the government against the citizens. It's a terrible system. It needs to be completely torn down if we are to go back to what our founding fathers wanted, a strong citizen whose rights come from God, not government.
My next question would be, what were some, I guess the word I would use is fun moments that you remember?
Actually, there were some fun moments. And we actually talked about it, and we sort of agreed on some of the fun moments. The opening statement was fun to me. I mean, I'd never really done an opening statement before, but it's on YouTube. It's on our X site, Doge SC. It might even be on our website. I need to check. If not, it will be there pretty soon. DogeSC.com. But it was a lot of fun. I just spoke from the heart, and I told the judge how I felt. I told the judge how I felt about the citizen, that the citizen had to be strong. We could not take unelected agencies. They have 84,000 rules, these agencies. Every one of them they can use to go after a citizen. I mean, this is a red state? Really? I mean, I don't even recognize the state anymore. It's been it's disastrously governed, disastrously ruled. It has to change if we're to get the citizen back. But I thought the opening was fun. And then there was another piece that was fun, which is they had a witness in there from one of the agency people who said in her 10 years and 1,000 cases, this was the most egregious thing she had ever seen in her entire life. And she used the word egregious at least 10 times. And so when I went to cross-examine her, I said, okay, in the last 10 years that you've been there, but let's say last 25 years, have you ever prosecuted anyone landward of a state-mandated setback line for anything? And she couldn't think of one. She could not think of one. And this is what I mean about character assassination, and this is also what I mean about what they're trying to do. They're trying to go behind a state-mandated setback line and say they have unlimited jurisdiction. And once they take it, you can't put your rose bush back. You can't put your fence back. And it's not just oceanfront now or anything like that. They're going after marshfront. They're going after wherever. You know, they're mistaking, they're mixing up intentionally preservation with confiscation. That's what they're doing. And I told the judge, if they get past me, I stand in the breach. If they get past me, this will be the biggest confiscation of private land this state has ever seen, and it even could be the nation has ever seen. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be unlimited. It's going to be random all over the state.
Yeah. Sadly, I wasn't able to be there because I was at school, but I happened to see your opening statement, and I thought you killed it, and I would have loved to be there to see you crush it. Alrighty, my final question is, do you think you can win?
I don't know. I don't know if I can win. You know, I've always said I listen to that voice, which I always say is God talking to me, and I've always said I have to try my best. I have to do my very best, and then whatever happens, happens. I can't worry about it. I can't just sit back and do nothing and say whatever happens, happens. That's not what God wants us to do. But I have to do the very best I can do she can do, we can do, and then we say, whatever it is, it is. But I'll tell you this, I will not give up. I will not stop. Whether we win, if we win, it's great. If we don't, I will keep pursuing this until there is justice, because if I break here, if I take the knee here, they will use me as a precedent to literally confiscate private land all across the state, and I will not let that happen. We will not let that happen. And this will go on, Isabelle, for, however long it takes. I told the judge at one point, he asked me to talk about the fine, whether, maybe the fine can be reduced. I said, I don't care about the fine. This is not about the fine. This is about whether a government agency can step into private land randomly and grab land, and the citizen has nothing he or she can do. Or they can bankrupt the citizen trying to do it. That is not what this country was founded on. This country was founded on property rights. George Washington said it. He said, freedom and property rights go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. We both believe that. Renee has been very supportive of what we're doing. She gets a lot more nervous than I do. And I don't know, do you get a lot more nervous than I did?
Yes, I get a lot more nervous than you do.
How was that?
I think you're a very spiritual person, and you just believe that God doesn't give you more than you can handle.
And that's true. I really do believe that, and I think it just gives you strength if you believe that. That really, it keeps you calm. I don't have blood pressure. I don't have any of those things because that's the way I work.
I mean, yeah, I think what you're doing is wonderful. Like you always say, stand up for what is right, even if you stand alone. And I think you're really setting an amazing example, not only for me, but for everyone in the state, actually, and showing everyone that what can be done.
Thank you, Isabelle. You love it well. All our dinner conversation did not go to waste.
Well, they're very, very long.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Bye.